Good evening, gang. No, there's no crazy news or anything like that to tell you. It's just something I wanted to talk about. It was that I need to get off my chest. Thought I'd share it with all of you because I know it's something that you guys run into as well. Had a phone conversation with a family member this afternoon who lives up in Illinois, Chicago area. And we were on the phone for a couple hours. Pardon the noise in the background. I'm canning chili, so I'm on my second 7 quarts here. But had a conversation this afternoon, and there were some things that really struck me. Now, there's an age difference, sure, okay, but some of the conversation was very interesting. Now, I understand the difference between Democrats and Republicans. I understand the difference between liberals and conservatives very well. Okay? Probably better than a lot of people. You think that it's just the uber left, the liberals, the AOC Bernie Sanders wing that is completely lost it. We got into talking different issues and whatever would be. And I made a comment in there about Biden being completely incompetent. And I got the response of, oh, I don't see that. I think he's totally cognizant. I'm like, okay. I know you don't do drugs, so I don't know where that came from. Then the conversation with her, one Republican that really impresses me is Adam Kinzinger. And my answer was, I said, well, he's the second biggest POS in the Republican Party. The only one who's outdone him is Liz Cheney. Oh, I can't see that. Liz Cheney's a good senator. And I'm dumbfounded, okay? But we were talking about other things. Capital punishment, we're both on the same side. Abortion, we're both on the same side. But where this completely went off the rails, okay, and mind you, this is a family member, and this family member told me flat out that they were a former Republican who would never vote for a Republican again because of Donald Trump. Now, I made the comment that at that point, I said, well, the one I'm hoping to see run next election is Ron DeSantis. And I got the guffaw, like, oh my God, that'd be the last person we'd need to run this country. I'm thinking to myself, we got this moron running the country now. So we got into talking about other things like lifetime appointments to the Supreme Court. And I will agree with their point that, yeah, lifetime appointments to the Supreme Court probably need to be taken a look at. And this was where we got into the Biden comment. I said, imagine that Biden was a Supreme Court justice and not a fraud in chief. Can you imagine him making decisions? The dude can't put together a coherent sentence, okay? I mean, he can't figure out whether the Holocaust was a horror or an honor, okay? But when the Constitution was written, the life expectancy for a human being was not up in their 80s. Nobody, back in 1776, nobody expected a 80-year-old to get elected president. Nobody expected people to be pushing 90 on the Supreme Court. So the comment was made of, well, we need to get somebody younger in the White House. Well, that can be very scary because remember, you got to be 35 to be president. Okay, 35 back in the 1700s was a well-seasoned person. 35-year-olds in 2022 are still living in mom's basement playing video games. Now, I want to give you this, and I made the comment here too. I said, think about this. In 2024, AOC will be old enough to run for president. Please tell me what experience in life she has to be the leader of the free world. And no offense to you guys that are in your 30s, but I'm sorry, that needs to be changed too. Okay, 35 is way too young to have any experience in life, to have your finger on the button, to be the one with the codes to the nuclear football. I'll also agree that 80 years old, no offense to those of you that are 80, probably not the best idea either. Okay, so where do we draw this line? I'm open for answers, okay? There needs to be some sort of litmus test. There isn't, okay? If you're a U.S. citizen and over the age of 35, you are eligible to run for president. Run to be the leader of the free world. I get it, okay? It's up to the voters. It's up to you and me to determine if somebody is qualified to run this country, to lead the free world. You know, back in the day, being a congressman, being a senator, being the president was, okay, but being in Congress was not a full-time job. It wasn't a career aspiration. It was something that farmers and shopkeepers did to establish a country. They came in, they made their votes, they did their business, they went back to farming their fields, running their shops, doing whatever. You know, we didn't have millionaires and billionaires, okay, even inflation adjusted back then. Sure, you could say, well, you know, Thomas Jefferson was a plantation owner or whatever. I get your point, okay? So don't have to make the comments underneath, you know, in below. You know, I love all the ones that people want to dispute everything I say. Go ahead, you know, seahorses, whatever it would be. Okay, fine. If that's the important thing that you take out of the video, so be it. All right, but there's a bigger point here, and I'm hoping you get to that. But when you have these issues in a family, how do you deal with it? Their comment was, I'm the only conservative that they talk to anymore. No family members, no friends, no nothing like that. They've cut them all loose. Okay? This is a Democrat, former Republican Democrat. Not an uber liberal, not a socialist, not an AOC follower, not somebody that wants communism, anything like that. This is just your run-of-the-mill, now I'm a Democrat. Okay. That's where we are, guys. You know, it's funny, before I met Mrs. P, and when I was living in Massachusetts, I dated a woman who was a Democrat, who thought Obama walked on water. That one didn't go too well, obviously. Politics isn't everything that defines people. You know, whether or not you voted for Trump or Biden, that doesn't tell me whether or not you're a good person, okay? But what you believe in tells me a lot, okay? And I'm not talking about capital punishment, I'm not talking about abortion, I'm not talking about LGBTQ rights, whatever it would be. I'm talking about, do you believe in the difference between good and evil? Do you believe in personal responsibility? Personal responsibility is a big one to me. It should be a big one to everybody. My personal opinion, the lack of personal responsibility is the reason that this country is in the shitter that we are right now. Because the leadership we have doesn't take responsibility for anything, and hasn't for the most part in this century. Okay, both sides giving you that. It's not because of bad decisions we have inflation. It's Putin's fault. It's big oil's fault. It's Congress's fault. It's COVID's fault. It couldn't have anything to do with, oh, I don't know, the border, Keystone Pipeline, any of those decisions. Nah, couldn't have. God forbid anybody say, yep, I screwed up. I was wrong. Let me fix it. That's the problem in society, guys. If you want to boil it down to one thing, it's personal responsibility. Admitting you're wrong sucks. It ain't hard, okay? It's embarrassing. I admit when I'm wrong. I'll fight when I know I'm right, but when I'm wrong, and you guys that have been here long enough know I've admitted many times when I've been wrong about something. When I see leadership, or what passes today as leadership, admit when they're wrong, then maybe we can move forward in the country. Until then, as my relative put it, I'm not talking to the other side. Welcome to the reason for balkanization, guys. Enjoy your evening. Pinball out.